journey down the Anduin. Having survived the dangers of Mirkwood Forest, the heroes continue their journey along the banks of the Anduin River toward Lorien with dire news of a gathering threat in southern Mirkwood.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Wolfgame. We're going to continue on our playthrough of the core set of Lord of the Rings, the card game. So we're moving on to the second quest here, Journey Along the Anduin. And last time we played with the Leadership and Spirit deck from the recommended decks in the rulebook for the revised core set that was just recently released. And this time we're going to be using the other of the two decks that they recommend, which has the Tactics and Lore heroes. So here we have Legolas and Denethor and Barivor. So if you're tuning in, we are going on a quest with these three heroes along the Anduin River from Lorien. And if you were looking for a tutorial on how to play the game, check out my previous video, the first quest in the core set. We're going to go through a lot more of the rules in that video. We're just going to jump right in this video here, and we'll talk through anything new that comes up as we go along. And so with that, let's go ahead and put together our encounter deck. And so looking at this right here on our quest card, we need cards with these four symbols right here, which I have set aside. So we have, again, the Goblin deck, which we saw in that first quest. And then we're adding in as well this deck with the paw print. This one here with the symbol of the Anduin River. And this one with an Eye of Sauron right there. And in addition to that, we are also adding in all of the cards from those four sets that have this yellow circle around the icons. And this is for standard mode. If you want to play on easy mode, just take those cards out and then shuffle that deck together without them. And that's going to be your easy mode. As well, if you're playing easy mode, really the only other difference is prior to setup in that first resource phase, you would add one resource to each of your heroes. So that just gives you one extra resource each when you start the game. But we're going to wait until that first turn and play this on standard mode today. So we'll shuffle up our encounter deck really quick and begin our quest. All right, now we're ready to begin.
Journey along the Anduin. To the river. Emerging from Mirkwood Forest with an urgent message for Lady Galadriel. You must now make your way south along the Anduin River in order to reach the forest of Lorien. As you leave the forest behind, you notice that you are being pursued, and thus quicken your pace. Setup. Each player reveals one card from the top of the encounter deck and adds it to the staging area.
So we have this one here. When revealed, each location in the staging area gets +1 until the end of the phase. And so this doesn't apply to us. We lucked out.
As you approach the location of a small raft stashed on the riverbank, a fearsome hill troll emerges from behind a grouping of rocks and attacks. When revealed, search the encounter deck for one hill troll, if one is not already in play, and place it in the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. Players cannot defeat this stage while any hill troll cards are in play.
All right, there's the hill troll. And we'll take our starting hand. Okay. Got a couple cards here that are helpful for what we want, but we are not getting everything we need there. So let's try one more time. And the card that I'm especially looking for is the Forest Snare, and that's going to allow us to stop this guy here from coming out and attacking us too early, because he's big and bad. We need 12 attack to take him out, and we do not have that. After we get this starting hand, we'll see what we're up against. So, Horn of Gondor, Faint, Hennemarth River Song, another Horn of Gondor, Leowin, and another Faint. Well, having 2 of these at the very least will help us to hold him off a little longer. Let's take a look at our heroes. So first off, we'll start with Barivor, and she is a Dunedain Ranger, and her action is exhaust Barivor to choose a player, and that player draws 2 cards, limit once per round. And then we have Denethor, who is a Gondor noble and a steward. Exhaust Denethor to look at the top card of the encounter deck. You may move that card to the bottom of the deck. Then our good friend Legolas. He's a noble Sylvan warrior, and he has the ranged ability. So again, if you're playing with a multiplayer setting, this will allow him to help with attacks on enemies that are engaged with another player. And his response, after Legolas participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, place 2 progress tokens on the current quest. Make sure our threat tracker is where it needs to be. So we have 10, 8, and 9, so 27 is our starting threat. Resource phase. So we're going to gain our resources and draw a card. And we got Gandalf. And I think to start out, we are going to put Hennemarth River Song into play. So we would pay 1 resource from a lore hero to put Hennemarth in play, and we can exhaust him to look at the top card of the encounter deck. And so this will let us see if we want to then use Denethor's ability to get rid of that without first exhausting one of our heroes and taking them out of play. We will also play this Horn of Gondor, and we'll attach it to Barivor. It's a restricted attachment. We want to have a couple of different ones on Legolas that are coming out. And let's go ahead and commit to the quest. Barivor, Legolas. 3 points of quest power. We're going up against 1 with this hill troll. So now we go on to deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher. And so our threat is still at 27, so we can leave that there. And the good news is this card that we just drew and discarded, it didn't affect us, and it didn't add any threat to the staging area. So our questing was successful. We put 3 and we had 1 in the staging area. We could have put 2 progress tokens over here to that quest, and we need 8 to complete it. So that is a great first turn there. Next stage is the travel phase, and there's no locations in place, so we'll jump to the encounter phase. That hill troll, if you remember, he has a threat of 30, engagement cost of 30, so he's not going to come down of his own accord for a couple more turns, and we're not going to bring him down on purpose. So we're going to let him stay up there, and we're going to jump right to the refresh phase, and we'll ready these 2 right here and increase our threat by 1 to 28. Right here, as we finish that refresh phase, before moving back to the next round of phase 1 of the resource phase, there is an action window. You are allowed to perform actions on character cards that aren't exhausted, or to play any sort of event card that's in your hand. You cannot play attachments or allies. Those are only able to be played during the planning phase, but anything else in your hand or any actions out here we can play right now. So first, I'm going to exhaust Hennemarth River Song to take a look at this card right here. And so when revealed, each location in the staging area gets +1 until the end of the phase. And each player with a threat of 35 or higher chooses and discards 1 card from his hand. We are getting lucky with these events coming off the top of the deck here. So we're just gonna leave that there to remind us. But now we know what's coming, and we don't want to use his to get rid of that, because that's a great thing to have come off the top of the deck at the start of the next round. We're gonna get our resources, and we're gonna draw another card. And we have Miner of the Iron Hills, and let's play these 2 resources. We're going to play Gleowine here, and he's going to give us a little more chance to draw some extra cards as well. So let's exhaust. Let's put him right there. We're going to exhaust Gleowine and draw a card. And we have Gondorian Spearman, and we can't afford him yet. And we're going to go ahead and exhaust Barivore to use her ability to get 2 more cards. So we got another Gondorian Spearman and a Daughter of the Nimrodel, which will give us some healing for any characters that get damaged later on. And we cannot afford any of those cards we just drew, and so we are going to move forward now to the questing phase. So let's exhaust Legolas, and we'll just go for 1. We know what's coming. That's gonna just kind of let us break even right now. But I want to keep these 2 in reserve to see what's coming next on that encounter deck. So this is going to come off. It's not going to affect us. And then we are not going to bring him into play for another 2 turns. And so we move on to the travel phase. There's no locations, so we can jump into the refresh phase. So let's go ahead and use Henemarth here to look at our next card coming out. And it's another event. When revealed, each player raises his threat by 1 for each character he controls that is not currently committed to a quest. And I think we will just commit everybody to the quest when that one comes back out next round. Let's ready everybody. Increase our threat to 29. We only have this last round until that hill troll is going to come and get us. So let's hope we can prep ourselves sufficiently to take him out. Now we're going to draw 1 more card. Quick Strike. Exhaust a character you control to immediately declare it as an attacker and resolve its attack against any eligible enemy target. Okay, that's good. And this hill troll is not eligible yet until he is engaged with us, but that'll help us do some damage before he attacks us later on. So now let's see what we want to put out. We will play out this Daughter of the Nimrodel. So it's going to cost us 3 lore resources. And put her into play. So now we are going to send everybody to the quest because we know what's coming on that next card, and we do not want to raise our threat right now. So there we go. Well, actually, we are gonna have to fight that hill troll either way next time. So I'm going to use these 2 to get 3 more cards. 2, 3. Did not get what I wanted, but that is okay. And then everyone else will go to the quest. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 against that 1. And then there's that event. So now we need to raise our threat for each character not committed to the quest, which would be Barivore and Gleowine. So we raise our threat 2. So we're gonna go to 31. And I don't know what I was just thinking. That means the hill troll is actually going to engage us right now because we raised our threat before the engagement checks. But let's go ahead and have it happen and see where it takes us. So he's gonna engage us, and we are going to this card right here, this feint. So this allows us to choose an enemy engaged with us, and the enemy cannot attack us this phase. So we're going to use one of these resources from Legolas, play that feint, and we're going to avoid his attack for another turn with that card. Okay, that was not my best move, but let's move on to the refresh phase. So we're going to ready everybody again and raise our threat one more to 32 and move on to the resource phase. So give everybody one more resource and draw a card. Blade of Gondolin. This is what I was hoping for. So this is going to give Legolas a little bit more attack power. So we're going to spend one tactics resource to put the Blade of Gondolin here. And this also is going to allow Legolas to put one extra progress out every time he participates in an attack that destroys an enemy. So he can already place 2. This is going to up that to 3 progress every time he attacks an enemy. So we'll put that one right there. And now we have a couple more resources. Let's put out a Protector of Lorien right here. So this is going to cost us 1 lore resource. And this allows, I'm going to put this on Denethor. So this will allow Denethor to discard a card from our hand to increase his defense or willpower by 1. And we can do that 3 times. So we can use him. He already has 3 defense, and we can discard a few cards to defend against that hill troll in a couple turns. And I think that's all we're going to do right now, because I'm going to save that last resource. We have one more feint here that's going to let us hold off the hill troll one more turn before he actually attacks us. So let's send Gleawine, the daughter of the Nimrodel, and Henemarth River Song. So that's going to give us 3. We don't have anything in the staging area yet, and so let's go with those 3 there, and now see what comes out. So we have a Wolf Rider, and he is going to engage us as well. And this is a nasty turn we have not yet seen in our playthrough, Surge. This means we have to draw another card after this. So we're going to put him in the staging area and draw one more. And this is the Necromancer's Pass. To travel here, the first player must discard 2 cards from his hand at random. And that's 3 threat in the staging area. So we just added 4 threat to the staging area for our 3 that we were using. So we are going to have to raise our threat tracker by 1. Okay, so now to the travel phase, we really need to move that threat out. So we're gonna shuffle up our hand here and randomly, oh, there goes Gandalf. And that feint that we needed to stop the hill troll, the 2 cards I did not want to discard. Okay, things are looking rough. So now we can travel to the Necromancer's Path and take 3 threat out of the staging area. And this Wolf Rider is going to come out, and he is going to attack us as well. So he has 2 attack. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to deal shadow cards to each of these enemies and declare our defenders. So Denethor is going to defend against that hill troll, and Barivor, she has 2 defense. She's going to go up against that Wolf Rider. We'll start here with Denethor, actually, because we're going to go with this higher threat first. So we're going to discard a Horn of Gondor. I'm going to discard this Gleawine, because we already have 1 in play. And we will discard, we have another Horn of Gondor here, and all of those are unique. So we're going to give Denethor 3 extra defense, so he's going up against the hill troll 6 against 6. And there is no shadow effect there. And so Denethor does not take any damage from the hill troll. Now for Barivore, 2 against 2, and there is a shadow effect here, so you'll see below that symbol there, shadow. Attacking enemy gets +1 or +2 if defending player's threat is 35 or higher. We're close, but we're at 33, so we're still safe from that. And Barivore is gonna take 1 wound. Now I still have Legolas ready, so we'll exhaust him. And I just forgot to exhaust them for their defense. We'll exhaust him. He has 3 attack, and we're gonna take out this Wolf Rider here who has 2 hit points. And now, because of his ability and that Blade of Gondolin, we are going to put 3 progress on the quest. So 2 is gonna go towards the Necromancer's Pass, and we'll discard that. And then 1 more is gonna go up towards our quest. Okay, now let's move on to the refresh phase and ready everyone. Okay, and then right here, resources and our cards. Okay, we have another Hanemarth River Song, which we cannot put into play currently. We really need some more attack power. So I'm gonna play out these 2 cards. We're gonna play a Miner of the Iron Hills and the Gondorian Spearman. So we'll place out these 2 characters there. And now we will commit to the quest. So we're gonna go ahead and send, we're gonna exhaust Play Wine to see if we, Force Snare. Attached to an enemy engaged with a player, attached enemy cannot attack. So you know what we're gonna do? We're actually still in our planning phase. We're gonna take back this Miner of the Iron Hills. He cost us 2 resources. We're gonna put those back here. And now we're gonna use those 3 resources to buy this Forest Snare. Attached to enemy engaged with a player, attached enemy cannot attack. And so that came just in the nick of time. So this is gonna allow us to focus on questing and attacking him without having to defend and take damage while he's tearing us apart. So this is very, very good timing. We'll send the Daughter of the Nimrodel and Barivore to the quest, as well as Hanemarth. So it's gonna give us 4 questing power. So let's see what comes off here. We have the Gladden Fields. Well, Gladden Fields is the active location. Each player must raise his threat by an additional point during the refresh phase. Okay, so that's 3 threat. We went for 4. We do get to place 1 progress onto the quest. And now it's the travel phase, and we're gonna go ahead and travel here. And hopefully we can get rid of that quickly to not keep raising our threat quite so much. And now we go on to the combat phase, encounter phase. There's no new enemies to engage with us, and so we're just gonna move on to attacks. And because of this Forest Snare, he is not gonna be able to attack us this time, which is great news. So we have 4 attack with Legolas with his Blade of Gondolin, and we have 1 more over here with our Gondorian Spearman. That gives us 5, and Denethor gives us just 1 more. And so I think we're gonna go ahead and just take the 5 with Legolas and the Gondorian Spearman. It's a slow progress because he has 3 defense, so it's really just gonna be 2 out of the 9 damage that we need. But that 1 I want to use here instead for Denethor to look at this top card of the encounter deck and see what's coming next. And so we have another Necromancer's Path, and it's gonna be 3 threat. And so we can prepare for that and know it's coming and plan accordingly next time. So let's go ahead and ready all of our characters. And move on to our resource phase. So give everybody their resources and draw a card. And secret paths. Choose a location in the staging area until the end of the phase. That location does not contribute its threat. That's awesome. That means we can leave that Necromancer's Path coming there for a round and not have to worry about its threat. And so let's see here. We need 3 plus 4 more, so we need 7 total. I'm actually just gonna send Daughter of the Nimrodel on the quest, which is 1 point this time. And then we're gonna exhaust Leowine here just to draw 1 more card. We got another Miner of the Iron Hills. And I think we are gonna hold off playing any additional cards right now and move on to the quest phase. So we have 1 here. We're going to pull off this Necromancer's Pass. That brings 3 threat into the staging area. We're going to use one of these lore resources to play secret paths. So that's going to remove those 3 threat from our questing this round. So that means we still make 1 progress with just the 1 dedicated to the quest. And that frees up everyone else here to help us attack that troll. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so that's gonna put an additional 6 damage onto the hill troll right there. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just need 1 more to get that 9 and take him out. Now we're going to move on to our refresh phase. That forest snare really could not have come at a better time. We probably would have lost the game by now if this card didn't come out and stop that troll when it did. So we've readied everybody. Now we'll move on to our resources and draw another card. Gandalf. That is awesome. Okay, so we are going to first exhaust Leowine here, draw 1 more card. Veteran Axe Hand. Oh, that's great. Let's hold off on that for 1 more round as well. So all that I'm going to play this time is this Quick Strike event. So I'm going to exhaust Legolas, pay 1 of his resources, exhaust him, and this lets me... Oh, and I forgot to raise our threat, that extra point there. So we're at 35 threat. So we just paid for this Quick Strike here, and that's gonna allow us to use Legolas on an attack against the hill troll. He has 4 attack with the Blade of Gondolin, and that takes out the 3 defense and that 1 last hit point for the hill troll. That takes him out. So we're gonna get rid of this nasty hill troll. And if you are scoring your games, this one does have a victory 4, so just set this aside apart from your regular discard pile for those encounter cards. And now, because we defeated an enemy with Legolas, he gets to place 3 progress on the quest again. And so we're gonna put 2 more here on Gladden Fields and discard it. And that's also a victory point card. And then we get to place 1 on the quest. We just need 3 more to get through that. We'll discard that forest snare. So now we can commit to the quest. So we'll send Bearvor. Oh, and Legolas is already exhausted there. And we will send Daughter of the Nimrodel. And actually, let's send Denethor. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going against this 3. in the Necromancer's Path. And each player raises his threat by 1 for each character he controls that is not currently committed to the quest. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 characters to the quest, and 1, 2, 3, 4 that are not. That's a whopping 4 extra threat points, bumping us up to 39. And then we'll discard that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 points going to the quest here, which means we get to add 1 progress token to the quest. Now, travel phase. Again, that Necromancer's Path again. We're just gonna go ahead and take a shot here. Discard 2 random cards, Hennemarth and a Miner of Iron Hills. Okay. And this can go over here. And we can ready everybody. And let's go ahead and raise our threat here to 30. I think we're already at 39. I think we got bumped. So we're gonna be up here to 40. And grab our resources and draw a card. And we got another Protector of Lorien. Let's do this. I'm gonna save most of these resources, maybe all of them, for Gandalf in our next round. And we're just gonna go ahead and quest like crazy right now. We're gonna exhaust Hennemarth here. So we'll exhaust Hennemarth and take a look at what's coming at us. And we've got Banks of the Anduin, and it's just 1 threat. So that's gonna be what's coming out next. So let's go ahead and just quest everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And that's coming out there. 1 threat, we get to put 5 progress out. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that completes, just 1, 2, 3, 4 total, if I can only count. So we get to discard that location, and we get to move on to the next stage of our quest.
Anduin Passage. After defeating the troll, you are able to board the raft and embark upon a river voyage. As you depart, your enemies pursue, harassing the small vessel as you attempt to navigate the river. As your enemies harass the raft, it is difficult to maintain balance and effectively fight them off. Reveal 1 additional card from the encounter deck each quest phase. Do not make engagement checks during the encounter phase. Each player may still optionally engage 1 enemy each encounter phase.
Let's go ahead and travel here. And if Bank of Anduin leaves play, it goes back to the top of the encounter deck. So we can now ready everybody. And we are going to raise our threat to 41. We'll draw a card, the Blade of Gondolin, and grab our resources. Okay, let's go ahead and pay 1 to put this there, and we are going to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to bring out Gandalf. And so at the end of the round, Gandalf will go out of play, but as he comes in, we get to either draw 3 cards, deal 4 damage, or reduce our threat by 5. And with what's coming, I think that's going to be our best choice. And so we're going to take this down to 36. Okay, and now let's do this again and exhaust Hennemarth. Take a look at least the first one coming at us remove 4 progress tokens from the current quest card. And that's a great one to have come out because we haven't put any progress on the quest yet. So let's send Gandalf for 4, Barivor for 2, Denethor for 1, and Daughter of the Nimberdell and Glewine for another 2. So that gives us 4, 6, 7, 9. And we need 19. So let's take a look and see what we have here. So that one's not going to affect us. We already saw that. There's no progress tokens to remove. And, oh, deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. That is bad. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is actually going to kill 2 of these characters off. So we lose Henemarth, River Song, and the Daughter of the Nimberdell. So they're going to go to our discard pile. And then we get to put 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. And you know what we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and discard that limit of 3 and add another 3 to that. So that will take care of this. And then that gets us halfway to our goal of 16. I'm going to use one of these tokens to represent 5, and then we'll put 3 more. So we have 8, and we need 8 more. And that's the end of that stage, or that round. So Gandalf is going to leave our hand. And so Gandalf leaves the play area, and we ready everyone else. Raise our threat by 1 to 37, and we can draw a card and gain our resources. Exhaust Glewine for 1 more card here. That'll give us 3 cards to use for Denethor's ability. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the quest. And we get a Banks of the Anduin. And so, and you know what? I forgot to put that last one when we discarded it back on the top of the encounter deck. And how funny is that we got another one? So let's go ahead and do that now. That goes there. So that means we would get 2 of those Banks of the Anduin. And so that's 2 against our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to discard these 3 here to give us 7. Against that, we get to put an extra 5 to the quest, which means we just need 3 more to get through this stage of the questing area. And we're going to go ahead and move one of these down there. So let's go ahead and ready our characters. I just realized I used him twice that turn, so we're going to take one of those progress tokens off. Now we're going to move on to our resource phase. And almost forgot to raise the threat there. And now we'll draw 1 more card here. We have a Veteran Axe Hand, and let's actually exhaust Glewine to get 1 more card. Henemarth, River Song. Let's put him into play here. And you know what? I think we're going to exhaust Barivor for those extra 2 cards as well. Let's send Denethor and Henemarth. So that gives us 2 against that 1. And we reveal 2. Oh no, we have a Hill Troll and a Dol Guldur Beastmaster, adding an extra 3 to the encounter, or the staging area. So that gives us 4 against our 1, 2 that we committed to the quest. So let's go ahead and play these 3 cards here to give Denethor an extra 3 and 1 progress out onto the banks of Anduin. And now we can decide if we want to optionally engage any of these, and I think that I do. We're gonna engage this Dol Guldur Beastmaster, and he's gonna get an extra shadow card, which is nasty, but we're gonna defend against him with this Gondorian Spearman, and he, after he's declared his defender, gets to deal 1 damage to his attacker. So immediately he's dealing a point of damage and going out with a bang. So these 2 shadow cards, nothing with that one. And oh, we got choose and discard 1 attachment from the defending character. And that is again lucky. There's no attachments on the Gondorian Spearman. So he is going to be discarded from play. But now we have Legolas, who has 3, 4, 5 attack. And so -1 defense. He's going to place 4 more damage on the Dol Guldur Beastmaster and destroy that enemy, which allows us to now place 4 progress on the quest. So 2 of those will be taken to complete the banks of the Anduin, which will then go on the top of the encounter deck. And then 2 more are going to go right here, meaning we just need 2 more progress to move on to that next stage of the quest. Okay, so let's ready all of our characters, and we will raise our threat back up to 39, draw a card, and grab some resources. Okay, so now let's take Leowen for 1 more card, another Blade of Gondolin, and let's send 1, 2, 3, 4 to the quest. And that's good. We have that Banks of the Anduin we just placed back up on top there. And Gladden Fields. Well, Gladden Fields is an active location. That's the one we have to raise our threat extra again. And it's 3 threat in the staging area. So we are going up against 6, and we were sending 1, 2, 3, 4, which means we need to spend these 2 here just to break even. So we do not get to put any progress out this time. We are going to travel to this Gladden Fields and get that out of the staging area, which means now as we ready all of our characters, and we are definitely not going to engage that hill troll right now. So ready those, raise our threat up to the 40, and then 1 extra because of the Gladden Fields. Gain our resources and draw another card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up against that 3. And well, you know what? Actually, we're gonna see if we can get another Gandalf card. So we're gonna use these 2. We're gonna exhaust them still, but we're gonna draw some more cards. We're gonna draw 3 cards, and that did not play out how I wanted, but that's okay. So we have 1, 2 going to the quest against the 3, and we have some cards to discard if we need to. And we have Dol Guldur Orcs and Enchanted Streams. So that adds another 4, 5, 6, 7 against our 1, 2 going to the quest. And we're gonna go ahead and exhaust or discard these 3 cards here, meaning 5 against 7, which we have to raise our threat by 2 more points. Okay, and now we are going to engage these Dol Guldur Orcs. We're gonna take it undefended because I need to use him to attack. And when we are lucky, there's no shadow effect. So we take 2 damage points and we're gonna assign them to one to Legolas. I'll give them both to Legolas there. And that always has to go to one of your heroes. It can't go to your allies. And so now I'm gonna attack with Legolas, who is gonna destroy that one. And now we're gonna put 4 progress out. So we're gonna get rid of this Gladden Fields and put 1 more progress on to the quest. We are 1 point away. Okay, let's go ahead and ready. We do just have to raise our threat by 1 this time because we did get rid of that Gladden Fields. Now we can draw a card. Gain our resources there. Everyone except for Legolas to the quest. Well, we're actually going to play this Gondorian Spearman out. And he is not going to quest either. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to play Secret Paths, which will nullify those 2 threat. So we are going up against 3 currently with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And there's another Dol Guldur Orcs. And when revealed, reveal X additional cards from the encounter deck. X is the number of players in the game. So we just have to reveal 1 more. And another Dol Guldur Orcs. So that's 5 that balances us out, and then an extra 2. So we have to raise our threat to 46. We are getting very close to losing the game on threat. So we are going to engage. Well, first off, let's travel to the Enchanted Stream. And then we're going to engage one of these orcs. And so we're going to defend with our Gondorian Spearman, which is going to put a damage out onto him. And then draw our shadow card. And there's no effect there. Discard our Spearman. And then we'll attack with Legolas. And Legolas is going to destroy him, which lets us put another 4 progress onto the quest. So we get rid of this Enchanted Stream, and that is going to complete stage 2 of this journey down the Anduin.
Ambush on the shore. The ongoing harassment from your enemies has forced your raft to the shore, and you must now confront their ambush head on. If you survive this attack, the path to the Golden Wood should be open before you. When revealed, reveal 2 encounter cards per player and add them to the staging area. Skip the staging step of the quest phase for the remainder of the game. Once there are no enemies in play, the players have won the game.
We're just going to draw 2 more cards, and then during the quest phase each turn we won't draw anymore. We do have to get rid of all the enemies in the staging area, including that hill troll. We are going to ready our players, characters there, and raise our threat 1 more. Because I missed adding threat those 2 rounds, this is where the game actually ends. You'll see the last part of the last turn I did continue taking. The heroes still get taken out by a hill troll. Join me next time for the next Lord of the Rings installment. We're going to take on this quest again and see if we can beat it. We have 4 damage to pass around, and that just takes out all 3 of our heroes. And we have lost the game. And the shadow and power of Sauron has prevailed. What are you still doing in there? You mean to say you stayed for that entire video? I guess that means it's time for another game. Click below to subscribe and we'll get another game to the table.